Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a couple years since I did an interview on here. To keep a long story short, I finally found a decent solution for this, and I'm looking to get these interviews moving again on this channel. For my first interview back, I have a very special guest by the name of Musiq. He's a rising rapper and singer out of Memphis, and his new album, All For Y'all, comes out August 25th. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Very excited to drop this album and have everybody hear it. So, you know what I'm saying? Blessed to be here. Thank you for putting this interview together. I know we've been talking about this for a long time, so it's great to actually be able to put it into action. So, happy to
Absolutely.
be here for the third time.
Absolutely, man. How are you? How are you handling quarantine?
um, Honestly, quarantine has been great for me. You know what I'm saying? I know it seems kind of corny to say that people have been saying we're in a pandemic, but I'm in a bandemic. But that's really what me and my friends been saying. Like, I feel like this quarantine was very necessary for all of us as creatives to really just look deeper into ourselves, to really have time to look deep into ourselves and figure some things out as far as our creativity goes, as far as everything goes within ourselves. Because with the quarantine, you can't really do too much. You can't really go places. You're not really supposed to be around people, so you're forced to do some introspection, so to speak. So I feel like in that aspect, it's been great. For the music, it's been great because people don't have anything to do except sit at the house and listen to your music or watch your videos. So the engagement has been pretty good. I'll say the only thing that kind of hurt me was like missing out on shows and missing performing. But eventually, you know what I'm saying, that will come back. And with the virtual shows, it's pretty cool too. Although I haven't done one yet, I'm pretty sure I will do one. But we'll see. But overall, quarantine's been great for
Sure.
me personally.
And you said you want to do a versus matchup. Who would you wanna go back and forth with?
Uh, Honestly, I'm not sure. I was actually just talking about that today with my friends because he said that I should do one, and I was thinking about it, and I honestly couldn't think of like anybody that I could really just go back and forth with. Honestly, like if I'm talking about like my music, not to sound conceited or anything, I feel like the lane that I'm in is so different from other people's lanes because most people have like one sound. Me, on the other hand, like I'm coming with different vibes. I'm coming with different genres. So it's like I'm not sure too many people would be able to, you know what I'm saying, keep up. No disrespect to any of the artists out there,
Sure.
but that's just how I feel, you know?
Absolutely. All right, so let me take it back to the beginning. You've been making music since 2015, right?
Yes, sir.
And although I wasn't around back then, I first got mention of your work when you did the I Might Need Security rework that Chance did, but you did it on
Oh
your
yeah, yeah,
and you did
yeah.
it on your own thing. That's how we connected. What made you want to rap on that
Yep.
beat?
Well, I was listening to the song actually, and I put the song on my story because I was listening to it. I put the song on my Instagram story, and one of my friends, Nick, he hit me up on the story, and he was like, "Are you about to do a remix to it?" And honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it until he said it. But once he said it, I was like, nah, I guess I could probably do something with it. So I went to YouTube and found um, somebody who made the beat pretty well. Shout out to Renegade Wave. And took that to the studio and did it. So that's pretty much where it came from. But I wasn't even thinking about it, honestly. It took somebody else to like plant that idea in my head.
Did you expect it to gain like the attraction and attention it got?
No, I didn't. For me personally, whenever I drop something, I usually have low expectations, not because that the content isn't good and the product isn't good, but mostly so I don't disappoint myself, if that makes sense.
Right.
So when I released it and it got so much traction, like it made me happy, like it made me feel good. I feel like most of it came from, you know what I'm saying, of course, being the same song name as Chance's song. But I feel like the traction continued to build because it was such a good version of said song. You know what I'm saying? So, like, once the traction got going with that out the song, then I put out the video, and the video, you know what I'm saying, did pretty well for my standards. So, it made me feel good. Was I expecting it? Not necessarily, but I'm happy it happened.
For sure. And I remember talking to you a while back about the influences you've had, and you've said it in past interviews as well. The names that came up were J. Cole, Drake, Cuddy, and I could tell from Drake pretty easy from the singing aspect, and I could see a little bit
Yeah.
of Cole in your rapping. Where do you take inspiration and influence from Kid Cudi?
So Kid Cudi is like one of my favorite all time artists, like out of anybody, and that's because when Kid Cudi was like really hot, that was like my seventh grade, eighth grade year, middle school, kind of like transitioning into that high school, to that high school realm. And if you listen to Kid Cudi, you listen to his music, he talks about the things that he goes through, feeling alone, feeling like an outcast, you know what I'm saying, dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression. And at that time, I realized that that was something that I was battling too. Like that was something I was going through at the same time. And listening to his music and listening to him say that he's going through the exact same thing kind of made me feel comfortable in what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? Like it made me feel like I'm not the only person that's feeling like this. Like he's famous and he feels the same way. So it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? I just have to figure out what it is. So like that vulnerability in his music and even with his style being able to create so many different vibes and still make it his own. Like he touches so many different genres, but it still sounds like Kid Cudi. It doesn't sound like he's trying to be somebody else.
Right.
So taking that vulnerability and versatility as well in his music and just wanted to recreate it in my music to give people that feel good feel whenever they're listening to me.
I can definitely see that, and like it sort of mingles in with how Drake operates and how J. Cole operate almost independently, where they can both sing and rap in a different way. But Kid Cudi is he'll be able to unravel a little bit more of himself than maybe a J. Cole or Drake, but maybe to a lesser extent. Right, I get that.
Yeah, right.
Um, all right, so I came here to talk to you about the album, so I'm gonna talk to you about this album, All For Y'all. On
Cool.
the lately and current event skits, you talk about racism in America, the crooked police, and having to stay alive and work amidst all this injustice. You've made it a point in your music to also just be about the good vibes, be about the music. What made you want to delve into those topics heading into this album?
Well, obviously because I am a black man in America and I deal with these issues almost every day. Um, or I see somebody or know somebody that has dealt with these issues almost every day. So I feel like it's important for an artist of any kind, whether that's a music artist, a visual artist, anything, it's important for you to capture the vibe of the time that you're creating in. So when I was working on the album, um, you gotta think about the George Floyd situation, the Breonna Taylor situation, and all the protests going on. Like if you listen to the current event skit, you'll hear different news clips talking about the protests, talking about COVID, because I mean COVID is also going on right now. Talking about the black man that got hung. I think I want to say that was down in Texas, but excuse me if I'm incorrect on that. Talking about that. So I feel like it's important as an artist to represent the time that you're creating in. And since it also impacts me, I feel like I have the ability to use my lens to paint a picture for other people that may not be going through the same thing that I'm going through, but I still want you to feel it. But at the same time, when you're listening to the song, when you're listening to lately, it sounds like a good vibe. And in the beginning of the song, I say like this is like a vibe out song. Like you listening to it, you gonna want to dance.
Yeah,
But if you listening to what I'm saying, it's like, oh, this man talking real spill. Like, because in the song, I'm talking about working hard on the music, and I'm talking about the police brutality. Then I'm also talking about me and my friends just growing up and becoming the people that we were always destined to be. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of friends that are settling down and having babies, like I say in the song. Like actually I just had a homeboy yesterday hit me up and say, and we were having a conversation. He got a son on the way. So it's like it's happening all over. So lately it's just basically a culmination of everything that I'm going through in this very moment.
right. And I think with some people, they're just like, oh, I'm gonna keep it about the music. I'm gonna keep, what's happening on the outside and use this as like a distraction from what's going on on the outside. So you feel like there's a responsibility on your end to talk about these topics rather than just be like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna stick to the music.
Definitely, definitely. I definitely do feel like that. Um, some people may not feel like that. I mean, if you listen to most mainstream music, it's not really talking about what's going on or how they feel about a certain situation. But for me, I feel like it's important for me to paint that picture for people.
Right. And I think there's definitely like a lane to operate in both sides. Like in the after those two songs towards the back half of the album, you split the album in between side A and side B. But after
Yeah.
lately, you know, you delve into the more romantic, intimate records. Are those to transition? Are those inspired by anyone in particular, or are those collected experiences from different people and different times in your lives?
So each song is kind of based off of a different experience, or I guess in this case, a different girl. So yeah, I would say that. Well, yeah, because Lavish Baggage is about my ex. How do you feel? Is about a girl that I was trying to get down on at the time, like a time like around last year. Uh, what's after that? Want to see you. That's really like Want to see you is about a collection of experiences more so than one particular experience.
Hmm.
But when I wrote it, like that's what happened. Like it started. I said it's 11 o'clock and I FaceTime you. I know you seen your phone ring.
Hmm.
Like I kind of like wrote it on a drunk night, right after I tried to FaceTime somebody and link up with them. So I
Wow.
guess it does come from one singular experience. But like I always say, like in my music, like you're gonna hear my life. Like outside of music, I don't really talk that much to people that I don't know. Even to people that I do know, I really don't speak much. Like I really move more through action. But for my music, if you listen to my music, it's gonna tell you everything that you need to know about me.
Right.
So I speak like I let the music do all the talking, like I say in self affirmation.
For sure. And then as far as this album, it's filled with a lot of people coming from your area. People like Goldie Rebel, Cash Keldry, 30 No Curry, uh
Hmm.
that boy Cortez. Is it important for you to put on other people from your city in general?
Yeah, it's very important. Like if you listen to the album, if first of all, if you look at the album, you're gonna see me, and then you're gonna see all of my like a lot of my close friends in the background. If you listen to the album, if you listen to the skits, like everybody that's on the skit, like these are like my real friends. Like I hit up my friends was like, "Yo, are y'all free on this such and such day? Like I want to put y'all on the album," and they came through and they did it, and I appreciate them for that, as well. But it's very important for me to put people on, even though I'm not in a big position, so to speak, but I feel like it's still some things that I can do to put my people on. And plus, it's just good to make great music with your people. Like I feel like it's no better feeling than being able to lock in with one of your friends and then go to the studio and knock out like two or three great tracks and be like, yeah, and be proud of it.
For sure.
So I think that's very important. I feel like everybody should be in the mindset of putting their people on or putting their people in a position to win or putting their people in a position to do better. Like that's why I say in the intro, like I'm gonna make it and share my success and my blessings with all of my kinfolks. Like this not just for me. Like everything that I do is not for me. Like it's all for y'all. Like the album say, like it's
Absolutely.
all just come full circle. Like it all just comes full circle. And I think people will be able to appreciate the organic feeling of the album because, like I said, everybody that's on there, I'm cool with. Like you've seen me with these people in real life, like kicking it. So I feel like that'll be great. But yeah, you got to put your people on. Like, there's no way that you can call yourself a leader of any kind, and the people that are around you are not moving in the same direction as you. Like if you're moving towards success, everybody around you needs to be moving towards success. If not, then how can you call yourself a real friend? How can you call yourself a real leader if you're not helping people around you do better?
And to add to people coming from your city, your friends and whatnot, do you see anyone off this album, any of your friends, or just people in general that you've noticed in the underground Memphis scene that you could see making some noise?
Everybody on this album for sure. Like you said, I got Goldie on the album. Like he's already doing his thing. Ice Slim Iceberg. I can see him. I can see him being big. I can see Keldry being big. I can see 30 No Curry being big if he actually decides to like want to rap. Like I think that's the only song he has. Like we went to the studio. First of all, Out the Way is like 2.5 years old. We recorded that like back at the beginning of 2018. So that was like his first time like getting in the studio for real. But if he really wants to do it, I believe he can be great. Um, yeah, I feel like all of them can be great. But to add on, I speak with a gift for somebody in Memphis that I do a lot of work with that will be great. Young Soul be great. Ricky Devane, Prophet Najee. We got so much talent in the city that I feel like anybody from the city that I associate myself with, that I surround myself with, that has good energy, I feel like any one of us could blow. Clay, I feel like Clay just got signed to dramatize with Tay Keith not too long ago, and
Mm.
I feel like honestly he should have been out of here, but you know what I'm saying, in due time, everything's gonna come in due time. But I feel like we just don't have like the scope on this different type of sound because everybody I'm naming is coming with a different sound than the original Memphis sound, I guess. Like you look at Memphis and everybody that has quote unquote blown up out of Memphis is pretty much all trap artists. You looking at Gotti, you looking at Dolph, you looking at Pooh Shiesty, you looking at Action Pack, you looking at Block Boy, you looking at all of them. They're all trap rappers. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been anybody out of Memphis that doesn't do trap to blow. But I feel like either me or one of the people on this album or one of the people that I just named, or even if I didn't name you, blame it to my head, not my heart. I feel like any one of those people could be the one to kind of shift the scene here. And then we'd be able to take that everywhere. It just takes one of us to do it because once one of us get in the door, we all in the door. That's what people don't understand. Like we gotta work together to do it. But I feel like all of them could go somewhere.
And you mentioned artists like Dolph, Block Boy. Do you feel any pressure or like a temptation to try out their sound and make it your own? The likes of Duke Deuce and Young Dolph. The type of stuff that they're successful with, or are you firm in doing your own thing?
I'm pretty firm in doing my own thing. There are times, and if you listen to once the album comes out and they hear it, there are some songs that I kind of do like delve into like that club banger sound or kind of like that quote unquote trap sound. But if you listen to it, like it still sounds like me. Like it's not like I'm forcing it or anything. It's the sound that I'm experimenting with at the time, I guess. Like it's just what I feel. Like I feel like doing this today, so I'm gonna do this today. But I feel like that just kind of taps into my versatility as well.
And I meant to mention this earlier when I was asking about your influences, but do you have a dream collaboration outside of that big three that you mentioned before?
Dream collaboration. I don't know. People ask me this. People ask me this a lot, and it's really like I'm not really sure. I just want to make good music, and whoever big out there sees me and wants to work with me, hey, let's do it. Like I don't know about a dream. I guess my dream collaboration would be Drake or Kid Cudi or J. Cole, as you said, outside of those three. So I'm not really sure, honestly. Anybody want to work, come work though.
For sure. And the big one when I first found out about you, when I listened to more of like your singing stuff and I got to check out both sides of your music. The first thing that came up to me was like was T-Pain on his first album, the album with I'm Sprung. I forget the name of the
Oh
album,
yeah, yeah,
but like
yeah.
that album with I'm Sprung and I'm in love with a stripper. That's the first one where I was like, "Oh, okay." So he's able to tap into a little bit of both. That
Oh
was
yeah, I feel like a T Pain collab would go crazy. Honestly, I
I
feel
think you
like that
guys
would be pretty hard.
I think the style would mesh really well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then we see with a lot of artists, they release these deluxe albums maybe a few weeks to a month outside of the original release. Is that something that people can expect from you, or are you gonna let this one breathe a little bit?
I'm definitely gonna let this breathe a little bit. Like it's 17 songs already. You know what I'm saying? So like that's already far more than I've ever dropped. Like I think that's like twice as long as the Seb joint was already.
Mm,
So as far as a deluxe album, I don't think I'll do that. But what I have been thinking about is doing like a little EP of songs that may not have made it and remixes. So I'll probably do something like that, but I don't see myself like taking the 17 song project and then adding 6, 7 more songs on it and
Yeah.
then releasing it as a 25 song project. Like I don't see that. Like I'd probably just do like a 6, 7 song EP and just throw that out there and call that just Lucy's for y'all or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
cause
something like that.
some folks they'll be like, they'll have 18 records and they'll be like, okay, I got all these sales going, but want to get more, and they'll drop like 8 to 10 more records, and it'll be like a 30 song record. And I was curious, like
Yeah.
if you had like a ton left in the tank, that was going to be my next question. If you had some that were hard to cut off from the album, or did you already know like these 17 tracks were like going to be the ones to make it?
No, I already knew. I already knew. Outside of the songs that are like years old, and I think there's only like a few of them. Every song that is on here, I created specifically to be on the album. So, like, I knew all of them were gonna be on here, except for like when you were helping me get the track list together, and you asked me like, would I be cool with like one not making it or something like that. I had like before you asked that, I hadn't even thought about it. Like I was like, yeah, I want all of these just to be on here.
For
Like I made
sure.
them all for a reason. But you know what I'm saying? Like I trusted your judgment to the point where if you were to say that you thought that I should leave this one off, like I would have took it into serious consideration. But these 17, like I knew that I wanted these 17 on here. Like once all the songs were done and I was like putting it together and like y'all were helping me put it together, I was like, yeah, I want all 17. I know it seemed like a lot of songs from upcoming artists and independent artists or whatever, but I feel like if you were to take one song off of this project, it wouldn't be the same project. Like it wouldn't flow the same. And once again, I got to thank you for that. I got to thank you and Nikki T and Kadeem for helping me get that track list together. Because without y'all, like I was losing my mind before I hit y'all up. I was like, I don't know how, I don't know what order I'm gonna put this in. I just knew that I wanted self affirmation to go first, and I knew that I wanted Baby Oranges to go last. And then I ended up having my good friend Cortez come in and do a little talking outro after Baby Oranges. So that's how Baby Oranges ended up not being last. But yeah, I wanted all 17
Yeah.
because I knew all 17 were quality. Like you said, people put out 30 song records and only have 8 solid songs out of those 30, or 5 solid songs out of those 20 that they drop.
Right.
And I don't want to be like that. Like if you listen to my album, it's gonna be 17 for 17, like 100%. The skits gonna get you, the songs gonna get you, all of that. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
That was the big thing when you sent me over the files for it. I was like, okay, so these are all like, real quality records. And I was trying to pinpoint like which one was like, okay, maybe this one isn't going to be like, better than, probably my favorite, How Do You Feel? And like, I think Self Affirmation was really great when you sent it to me. I was like really surprised you popped off like that.
Oh
And
yeah, everybody would.
because like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's the opener right there. Like I knew
Yeah,
right then, I was like, oh, that's how you got to come out the gate with it. And then once you sent me everything, I was like, okay, this has got to flow because I know, you've got like the duality in which you can sing and you can rap. So I think it was right to split it up in two, or at least flow it, from super crazy at Self Affirmation to where it cools down towards the back end.
right. And once again, I got to thank you for that too, because you the person that really put that idea in my head. Because you, the way you explained it, it was like a sun up to sundown type thing as far as like the energy went.
Yeah, and
And like once you put it like that, it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I think that you were able to capture it. I think you releasing it right towards the back end of summer really hits it too, because you're hitting, very much towards the end where, in like June, it's very hot outside. It's right at the start, with Self Affirmation, and now we're able to grow with it to Baby Oranges and the outro with Cortez, where it's like, okay, now, everything's starting to fade. It reminds me of like when Drake was on Views when he did the Summer's Over interlude, and he like cooled down after that. That's what it reminds
Yeah,
me of.
yeah, right.
Um,
Right.
oh, my bad. Let me get these notes. Do you have a favorite out of this whole track list?
It's kind of hard to pick a favorite because all of them I love for like a different reason. But if I had to choose, I'm gonna do one off each side. Is that cool?
Yeah, yeah. Go for it.
So I'm gonna do one off each side. So, off side A, I gotta say self affirmation. Honestly, just because when I wrote that and when I recorded it, and even when I did the video for it. By the way, the video is out right now. I just dropped that a couple of days ago, and it's doing pretty well. It's almost at 1K. But when I made that, I really feel like I was really stepping into like another bag, and everybody's saying that too. Like I'm just coming so different on it. And when I was writing it, like I could literally like feel the energy like within myself as I was writing it. So I knew that whenever I recorded it and put it out, like I knew that it would be an attention grabber. So that's my favorite offside A. Offside B, I would probably have to say Baby Oranges. Not only because it's a great song, but it's a ballad. Like I like doing ballads. Like it kind of reminds me of like that patience feel
Hmm.
from the Sap joint, honestly. But with that one, I like the inspiration behind it because I wrote that song about my current girlfriend. So
Oh,
that's where the inspiration for that song comes from. And it just sounds good. Like it sounds like you're in a dream.
yeah.
Like that's why I did the Kush Kama skit like before it because Baby Orange sounds like a dream, like when it starts, like when the guitar comes in and all of that. And also shout out to my guy Terrell for helping me write the skits and helping me do all that stuff because that was actually his idea to put like a Kush Kama type of skit before the baby oranges because it sounded like a dream. Like he was the first person to be like, yeah, it sounds like a dream, so this is what I think that we should do. But that's my favorite off the side B. But I love them all. I love them all. All of them just are hard.
What's the big takeaway you want listeners to get out of all for y'all?
The big takeaway that I want listeners to get out of all for y'all is, for one, I make quality music. Like that's the number one thing I want you to know, that I make quality music, and not only do I make quality music, but I make quality music of different vibes and different genres. Like anybody that listens to the album, no matter where you're from, no matter what situation you're in, no matter what type of music you like, I guarantee that you will find at least one song, if not the whole album, that you rock with enough to play repeatedly, or you rock, or that you love, or that you feel is good enough to add to your playlist to share to your friends. Like that's probably the biggest takeaway that I want people to get. I just want people to listen to it and love it, like as much as I love it, even though that's probably impossible because I made it and I'm very biased.
Right.
But that's probably the biggest takeaway that I want people to get, that I'm making quality music, although I'm an upcoming artist, although I'm an independent artist and I don't have as many resources as these mainstream artists. I want people to know that I'm making better music than these mainstream artists with less time and less resources. So yeah, that's the biggest takeaway.
All right, man. I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, I thank you for having me, bro. I'm glad that we could actually, what I'm saying, set the time aside and really lock in and get it done.
For sure. And if there's anything you want to plug, your social media, where people can find your music, feel free to do that.
Got you. Well, like you said at the beginning of the show, my name is J Music. It's JAIMUSIQ. You can find my music on all platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, Amazon, SoundCloud, Deezer, Pandora, all that good stuff. Know what I'm saying? We distribute it everywhere. You can follow me on all social media at J Music. Once again, JAIMUSIQ. No underscores, no periods, no spaces, no numbers, none of that. Yeah. All for y'all on the way. August 25th. Merch on the way real soon. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro.
No problem, man. And as far as me, you can find me on Twitter at Caleb Catlin, CALEBCATLIN. Please subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on for my next interview. And thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.